Got it.
Okay, so we're gonna show you how do I cut my two small parts now. These are the ones, so you should have gotten stock for the other two parts, and you just check their length. These ones you're actually gonna fully cut over on the cutter. So I've got my two guides here. I'm gonna grab a scribe and we're gonna come over here. Those are usually on that table. Now I could measure them by hand. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing is that there's a good chance you're gonna make an error. So instead, we just have you come in and use the guide. You won't make that mistake. So I'm grabbing my 1/8 so I can see the difference. This is 1/8 stock. This is 3/16 stock. Okay, so it's quite a bit thinner. We're gonna come over. I do my long one first. Why? Because if I mess it up, my long one becomes my short one, right? And I'm just gonna come in here, get it close to my edge, press down, and then get a nice scribe line. Just like that. We can see my scribe line there. And I'm just gonna cut it a little bit to that side of my line. That way I don't make a mistake and I can easily grind up to it rather than trying to add material, right? You can't add material with this. So I wanna cut it a little bit long, but not too long, just a little bit, about a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, turn on my green press here. I'm gonna look down from the top to see where I'm gonna be, and you come in and take a look. So when I look down from the top, I can see my line. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Does it show up on the video closer? A little bit in that way. No, a little bit in that way. There we go. Now you can see that line right there. You see that?
Yeah.
You see it when it moves? That's my line. Okay. I want to match it up with the edge of my shear. Then I'm going to turn it on. Coming down, and it's a foot pedal, and it goes. It stops as soon as I press. You see how it stopped right there? That's because I stopped pressing down. So you can come in as slow as you want to. Come to this angle. You can get a better angle here. Lift it up a bit. Okay, and now I'm just gonna come in and make my cut. Boom, just like that. Okay, now I'll check it against the jig to make sure that we have enough. Okay, and I can see there, right, that I have enough on this side and enough on that side, that after I punch it, right? We showed you how to do how we do the punch in the other video. After I punch it, I'll be able to match this right up, okay? So we'll do our smaller one now. Same thing. I just bring it up to the edge, hold it down, just like that, make a scribe. Okay, see my scribe mark? Now we're going to line up our scribe mark. Just like that. And this stock is right here on the wall, okay? But don't confuse it with the 3/8. So you might take your calipers and measure to make sure that it's 1/8 and not 3/16 stock, because that's 3/16 stock, which is what the other ones are made out of. And I can see that I have enough space on each side, okay? So that's how we measure these and cut the blanks to use for our two smaller. This is our cable guide and our spool guard. Okay, you can cut the video. Okay, so we're gonna be showing you how to make our two small frame parts here. So I have my cable guide, which says it, boom, cable guide. And I have my spool guard. This one just says part 26, this is my spool guard. And so after I cut them over there, right, which we showed in the previous video, I went and I cleaned them up. And now we can check our developed length and see that we're dead on there. And we're dead on there. If we need to, if this was a little bit long, right, like let's say it looked like this, I could just take my scribe and just scribe, like let's say it looks like this after you clean it up. I could literally just come in and just make a mark like that, and then I can see this line, and I just need to grind up to that line if it was long. This one's not long, but just so you know, if you make it a little bit long, it's not that big a deal. Just grind up so it matches the guide. Okay, don't grind the guide. Okay, these do not go near the grinders. Okay, I'm gonna use my transfer punch. Okay, we'll check, make sure it's the right one. Yep, just like that. I'm gonna line it up. I always get questions about how I do this. So real easy, I'm pressing down with the palm of my hand and I'm pinching with 3 fingers and the downward pressure, and I'm holding it with, I can hold it with my pinky finger and my thumb until the moment I'm about to strike it, okay? That keeps it aligned here, and then I only get 1 shot. I come in and hit it once, okay? Now I flip it over, I align my last one. I can put it in there and use that to line my hole up. Okay, just like that. Then I'm gonna come in here, do the same thing, give it a punch. Okay. For this one, I'm gonna come in here, do the same thing. Just like that. Okay, flip it over, line my hole back up, line my parts back up, and hit my other one. Okay. The mistake that people make is that they don't line this hole back up, and so what ends up happening is it like drifts off one way or another. When you do it, your holes should both be lined up in the center. Remember, you get 2 shots because you can do it on one side or do it on the other side if you mess up one side. Okay. Now I'm going to take my scribe, I'm going to pin down, and I'm going to mark just like that my corners. Okay. Now that we've made the first mark using our transfer, he's not showing you guys a demo. I'm going to come in with my center punch and I'm going to center punch it, okay? Remember that when we did our sheet metal parts, we actually started with the holes like that, and then the first step was to center punch it out, okay? So don't feel like you should need to hit it really hard with the transfer. The transfer just moves my hole locations. Then I actually make it bigger and hit it with my center punches, okay, just like that. And at this time, I would use my lap number. Okay. Okay, so I'll punch my lab numbers into it. Just like that. And now, when I bend it, I want to bend it out. So I want my lab number to be on the outside. So I'm going to put my lab number on the same side that I marked those. Just like that. Now we're going to come over and we're going to punch it. Okay, I'm using my yellow handle. I'm lining it up. Just like that. And then I come in and I punch down. Don't do this fast. You don't need to like slam it down. Just use the leverage and pull down and it'll cut it. Just like that. Okay, so now this is a crucial step that people forget. I need to clean my holes up now. If I bend these before I clean my holes up, I won't be able to get inside to clean them up. It's the same thing that you should stamp your lab number in that step, because you're not going to be able to stamp it after you've bent it, okay? So we'll come over to our center, and we're just going to quickly come in and deburr it. Just a little bit like that, flip it over, just like that. And I would recommend setting the part down so you get a good grip of it. Just like that. Okay. We can clean up on the Scotch-Brite wheel. They're using the Scotch-Brite wheel right now. So we'll just come over and cut the video and we'll show you how to do the hydraulic.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna finish our cable guide right now. So we're over at the hydraulic press. We're gonna do both of our hydraulic press operations. We also will talk about doing the plunger, the spring pocket in a different video. So that's the only other one we do on the hydraulic press. But right now I've got it here. This is a nice easy part. I'm gonna take my jig. I wanna make sure that my numbers, I stamp them at this point and that I have countersunk and deburred these edges, because as soon as I go to bin this, I'm not gonna be able to get in there again. Okay, so I wanna try and do it now if I want full credit for the part. Okay, I want my bins, my numbers down so that when it bins, they're on the outside. I'm gonna place it just like this over the little nub, lay it flat, and then just put this on top, just like that, and put it into my hydraulic press. Now I'm gonna situate it so that it's in the middle, right? The big thing is I wanna make sure I don't put it where it's gonna go over either of my pins and crush them down, and then it's gonna come down, and you can see it go up. We're bending, my arm in the way. We're bending. Just like that, boom. Just till it touches, okay? You don't need to go super hard. You can see I'm only at about 15, okay? It's not like a super hard press, it's just to get the geometry, okay? Turn it off, pull it out, okay? Everyone always asks me the same question, which is, how do I get it out now? It's stuck in there, you'll sit there for a while. I turn it on its side, I grab my rubber hammer, and I just go bam, just like that, and knock it out, okay? Boom, this part is now done, okay? My lab number is on the outside. My holes are deburred. I have my corner rounds, nothing sharp. And if you notice, my bin is a little bit wide. That's okay, because we want it a little bit wide, because when we pinch it down, it'll actually give us that good connection, okay? It also, depending on how well you did it, it might be a little bit tall on one side. It's not the end of the world. You will get a little bit of points off, but only about half a point. It's not that big a deal. Okay, that's usually just that you made it too long. So you made it a little bit long, then your holes will be a little bit off on the bin. Okay, now let's do our second one. So we're gonna cut and we'll come in for the next video. Okay, so now we're doing our spool guard. Okay, if I notice this one says S guard on it, S guard, that's how I know I'm grabbing the R81. The other one says handle. Okay, this is my spool guard. I'm gonna place it. If I'm doing a bunch of these back to back, I might put my stop in, which allows me to raise up my bed so I don't take as long. Okay, just like that. For this one, we're gonna put it in, and we need to pay attention. We want our numbers on the outside. So for our numbers to be on the outside, we need to punch the holes down, right? So that's the holes in. We want our holes in, okay? So real simple, I'm just going to keep my numbers up. I also should still have my lines that I marked for my bins up. I come over the top, I hook it on the little nub in there, and then I bring it across and against this pin, and then I just come down. On this one, we don't go to a specific pressure. What we're gonna do is based on what happens to the part. So we'll see the part rise up and then rise back down, okay? So let's watch. If you look here, okay, I can see the part, and now it's gonna start going up, see? It's going up, going up, going up, going up, and then it dropped down, okay? That's how I know I'm good, okay? Now it's all the way back down. If I notice I'm about 7, okay, on my dial. I get this all the time. How do I get it off? It's on there, and then they sit there and they try and struggle. Hold it up, take the hammer, one whack, comes right out, okay? Now our radial stop is in. That's a good radial stop. So I'm gonna do it to the other side and make sure that they're both facing the same direction, okay? The easy mistake here is to punch the other one on the wrong side. So my numbers need to stay up, and I'll punch my next one, okay? Just like that. Okay, and same thing, just knock that. Okay, now I have both my radial stops done. They're facing the same direction, and we can go over and we can bend it. Okay, I want to put my bend on the inside. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. I want my radial stops to be on the inside. So if I notice my lines should be facing me, I'm going to press it in here. I'm going to line my lines up, right? So I'm lining this line up with my edge. And if I'm confused, what could I do right now? I could take it over here to this jig. You don't have to do this, but I can line my line up with my groove just like that and come in and give it the mark. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to line my line up just like that, and then I'm going to transfer those to top mark. So I can see here, there's my line and there's my mark. See how they go right to each other? So that's just, you know, if you really want to make it easy on yourself, you don't have to do it that way. Okay, now I'm going to line it up. Okay, I'm on top of my pins and I'm nice and square down. Okay, now I'm going to just come up to the line that says 160. Okay, that's because your class is 160. This isn't bending it to 160 degrees, which I've had 2 students ask me. Okay, this is going to bend it a little bit past 90 so it springs back to 90. Okay, so I just got to bring it all the way up to my 160 line, just like that. Okay, see there, see there. Okay, and now when I loosen it up, you'll see it sprung back. Just give it a nice one, push in, pull it out. Okay, so one of those bends is done. If I notice, it's not exactly 90, but my radial stops are 90, because this edge from here to here needs to be what's actually 90. This little bit's fine. It's not that big a deal. Okay, it looks just like our other ones. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the process on my other line. Just like that. And bring it up to 160. Just like that. And now I have both my lines bent. Everything's good. They're both in. I'm at the right length. I can see my bends here from the outside are right on those lines. Everything's good. My lab number is on the outside. I deburred these holes before and I hit them on the Scotch-Brite before, because if I did it now, this one you could probably get away with getting in there. On the cable guide, there's no way you're going to get in between that little gap. So make sure you deburr them first. Okay. And now this part's ready. This part's done. Okay, see you in the next video.